Richards is live.
All right, guys. Hey there. We are back again for episode 92 of Matt and John make a podcast. We are going live this week due to our schedules and stuff. But we found time. Anyways, between Matt's busy schedule and mine. So yeah. We got a ton of things on topic for this week. And first of all, we're going to get into some professional wrestling talk, and we'll kick it off with NXT here, Matt.
Yes,
and you and I have been going back and forth on this. I am so invested into what NXT is currently into what they are currently having right now, and the card for the Great American Bash looks really good on a Tuesday here.
It does. It's a good one of those weekly. Not want to say weekly, but little
quarterly. Yep,
specials they are doing both as well as AEW does similar type of shows on weekly specials. I don't know why I can't even come up with that phrase, but you get what I'm trying to say. So yeah, it's obviously it is 2 days after 4th of July, Great American Bash. No common sense there. So yeah, do you have the card pulled up?
Yeah, I do. So we currently have 4 matches that are currently advertised. Candice and Indy versus Io and Zoe Starks for the women's tag titles. We also have Eli Drake versus Cameron Grimes for the $1 million title, which if Cameron Grimes loses, he must become Eli Drake's. I keep on saying Eli Drake.
Nice.
LA Knights. He must become LA Knights Butler. We also have the NXT tag team titles between MSK versus Ciampa and Thatcher, and Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly. And we also have some form of a segment or confrontation between Karrion Kross and Johnny that is being also advertised.
Yep.
I would say out of everything on the show, the one thing I'm probably am most excited about is MSK versus Ciampa and Thatcher. But a close second, I would say, is probably Cole versus Kyle. I'm pretty excited for this because to me they have really built this up really well. And I think a good part of the two has been Samoa Joe's influence pretty much everywhere on the card here too. So it's pretty interesting. And do you think that we get new champions here between MSK? Yeah, I think so.
I felt like you got to go. To me, watching week to week, Ciampa and Thatcher have the momentum, and nothing again against MSK, but like everything, the fans behind. Look at the promo, the face off between the two. Right. The crowd, way better crowd by the way, was chanting the old.
I would love to freaking know. I would love to freaking know, where was this crowd for the takeover show? Like, were they like on silent? Were they sick?
They were not vaccinated, and I don't know. No, but the crowd was doing the whole Ciampa's gonna kill you.
Right.
chant. The momentum's on, Ciampa and Thatcher. That pairing is one of those things you never knew you wanted until you saw it. It just organically worked. I would get new champions. There's a possibility of maybe 2 new champions. I think kind of seems possible on this card. The other being, I think, the women's tag team. Um, less
I'm
like I think less likely compared to
yeah.
this, but I think it's still possible. But for the women, it wouldn't surprise me. The champs retain, but I think this is almost a damn guarantee in this match.
Yeah, I just feel like with MSK, they've gone as far as they can currently with their current characters. Whereas to me, Ciampa and Thatcher has way more mileage with them as champions there. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. I also feel like between LA Knight versus Cameron Grimes, I feel like that's pretty predictable after they put in that stipulation. I will be really surprised if Cameron wins here.
Yeah.
I feel like that this is eventually is going to set up to a third match, which would happen at Takeover, and that's when he finally has his title there.
I think there's so much more just overall entertainment value you can do with Cameron Grimes being the butler. And to me, I don't know what you think, but in my opinion, I think this, to me, LA Knight, he needed something like this. He's really entertaining me in this role. I think it just his type of persona. I think this fits perfectly for him. And vice versa, this has really helped. And we keep saying this has really helped Cameron Grimes kind of flip into this face character that everybody's getting behind. And
well, I think it helps too because I think and once I think SummerSlam comes, they're going to need some like babyface challengers, and he's definitely one of those few because especially with what we assume between guys such as Karrion Kross, like Bronson Reed, I'm expecting he's going to be getting called up. It just seems like that we're going to be seeing a much different looking roster come by the fall. So I feel like getting him over as a baby face is so important right now, and I think it's going to really help because I would expect that Alec Cameron is going to be a champion before this year is over, because I could definitely see him versus Swerve for the
North American top.
Right, as that's gonna slide right in there.
If to fill in to go over the hills to fill in a void that could be left with Karrion Kross, and if we exclude Adam Cole, I think the next person up, I think Santos Escobar.
And
they're slowly pushing them up.
Yeah,
I think within the next year, I think he's going to be fighting for a championship, probably maybe championship.
And I mean, like, who knows? Just based on everything that's happening, you could also see him possibly turning possibly turning face, especially too because I think they're gonna be going into a feud with Hit Row here soon, because you would imagine since like Santos Escobar was going into a feud for for the North American Championship, you would think he's just gonna be there as well. So like, could they possibly turn him face there too? You know,
he's over enough that I think it could work. He's got some cheers.
He has the charisma to like make that work. So I definitely have confidence in him. It's just I think like with all of the changes that are going to be coming down here, especially with WWE, I'm like going back on the road here in what, like 2 or like 3 weeks here. You know, that's only going to accelerate that process there. Before I forget, and Adam Cole versus Kyle. Kind of feel like that Adam Cole might lose here again, because I say this all the time about him. I don't know where he really fits in for NXT right now, because especially with when who did he face what 2 weeks ago? I like forget his name, but like
was it the Cena angle kind of? It was. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, but it just seems like that they're putting him more of a like role where they don't know where to go with him, and he's just gonna be helping other guys out. And I feel like he's another call up guy too, possibly.
I think he's just there. Because I think O'Reilly would need it more obviously than Cole.
Right.
Yes. Telling the story. I mean, I don't think a loss. I think it's one of those situations that a loss doesn't hurt him because he's always there. He's always going to be Adam Cole. I think. Yeah, I don't know, but I think I would go with O'Reilly.
I think so too.
Yeah, I mean,
just because, like, and as I said with Cameron, this NXT really needs baby faces right now, and they're in a very short supply right now, especially too when you assume guys such as like Finn as well. It's going to be getting back on either like Raw or SmackDown too.
I mean, so Johnson's gone.
Yeah, you assume too with Karrion, since he's been basically in a
main event. They've basically tried him out.
Yeah, so you would assume that too. It's just I feel like I would assume that we're gonna be seeing a lot of like transition here, and you are already seeing that from this past week on NXT. But I'll say this: even though for the ratings aren't really showing it, to me, NXT is the past like 3 weeks have been just superiorly better shows, better flowing shows, better like built up shows. It just everything seems to have more of a like purpose right now than I thought.
More of the stars are aligning
exactly.
for everything story wise. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, the shows before, in my personal opinion, weren't bad, but now everything is more clicking.
Right. It feels more like it feels more like what NXT was back in like 2018, in like 2019, where things are like making sense more, which I am really liking, and they are also definitely teasing. They're definitely teasing Joe like wrestling at some point, and he pretty much said so in a like recent interview where he said, "I'm going to be back at some point."
Mhm.
I gotta think he's gonna be facing either Kyrian or Adam here at some point. It's just like they wouldn't be teasing the freaking hell out of this if there wasn't something at the end of the freaking road there. So I am expecting that at some point, which also has me really excited because man, so Samoa Joe is just killing this freaking role
Oh yeah,
on NXT
especially when
right
when O'Reilly has him in submission, and
now.
he's
Yeah, he's
all,
just like,
Joe, get him off, and he's well, not my problem. You know,
yeah. He was like, okay, okay, guys, come on now.
but if you do, I just remember if you do like the whole wrestling booking 101, O'Reilly got the upper hand. Man, it's
but
cold.
then again, this isn't like Vince. I have like learned that
Yeah.
how like Vince books and how everyone else does it are completely different because I tried to apply that same logic when I'm watching AEW, and they just it's like not the same. So yeah, and that'll kind of transition us into AEW as they are going back on the road. Yes, last week was their final show in Daly's place in this quote unquote pandemic era, or as like JR called it at the end, WWE Dynamite.
The door is open.
Oh my! I was like, man, that was actually the real Forbidden Door right there. Um, so yeah, they'll be appearing in like Miami next week for AEW Road Rager, and this looks like a really fun card. But
Road Rager. I don't know
yeah,
why. Funny.
yeah, Road Rager.
That's cool.
Yeah, so like they're in like Miami this upcoming week. Then I think they go to Austin and then somewhere else in Texas. I forget where, but those are for the next few weeks there. And for this week, Matt, let me know what you think of these matches. Andrade, he is going to be making his in-ring debut against like Matt Sydal, formerly Heavenborn of WWE. Young Bucks will be defending their tag team championships in a street fight against Eddie Kingston and Pentagon Jr.
Okay.
We have a strap match between Cody Rhodes versus QT Marshall. I'm going to freaking hate this match. I'm just telling you right now. Your boy Orange Cassidy and Chris Statlander in a mixed tag team match against the Blade and the Bunny. I'm sure you are just so excited about that one.
Why didn't you tell me this before?
The inner circle consisting of Santana, Ortiz, and Jake Hager versus FTR and like Wardlow. I am really excited about that match there. And we also have a face-off between Chris Jericho and MJF to what we assume will be for their pay-per-view match at All Out. That's going to be coming at the end of August, going into September. So yeah, there's a lot of things that are happening here. Probably the thing I'm most, or two things that I'm really interested in is definitely Andrade, because just based on how they all are like presenting him, it's not quite how WWE and even in NXT how they were using him. They're using him more of like of a king of like Latinos, kind of similar with Santos Escobar. He's like wearing like fancy suits and everything there. So and just his overall overall presence and everything too, Matt. I'm really liking so far. Now, if there is definitely one thing on the show I could give two shits about, and that's anything involving involving Cody Rhodes and his never-ending feud with this like branch with this branch faction of his of the like Nightmare family. I just could absolutely care less. I'm just they cannot end this thing soon enough. I'm hoping with Cody Rhodes going over here that he can finally just move on from this never-ending and incessant feud here. But I don't know. Out of everything that I kind of laid out there, anything really that like jumps out for you there?
Andrade's interesting. That should be a decent match. Nothing really jumps. Nothing stands out. To be fair, now, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, well, I think it doesn't help that you haven't been like watching there because pretty much me describing that it isn't going to really change all that. But
no, but I am intrigued how they're going to handle Andrade.
Yeah, and pretty much the last like few weeks outside of like this week, they have been really holding back. You can clearly tell they're just waiting just to get back on the road because I feel like that these like next like few months there's gonna be a lot of stuff that's going to be happening, and on top of that, with All Out coming here really soon, we're almost like 6 weeks out from that. So that's going to be creeping up here really quickly. So and I don't really see any titles changing hands here. Either Bucks. I think for them, the next team to really pose a threat to them is probably Santana and Ortiz. Because it really does feel like and with them going back into like New York in September, feel like that might be a good time for them to
That's true. That's true.
To possibly put the titles onto them there. And if like you just look at the current guys in the mix, Bucks have pretty much have either like faced these guys recently or like beat them pretty handily. And the last time these guys faced some Santana and Ortiz, Bucks, I'm pretty sure they were like baby faces at the time. So technically this is a pretty fresh matcher. So that's kind of where I'm hoping that they eventually go, but we shall see. All right. Now we're going to jump into some Loki talk here, Matt.
Yes.
What did you think of episode 4 this week?
A lot of crap happened. So everybody, the memes have been great about Morbius getting sprung or whatever, and talking about his jet ski and maybe his previous life, and just everybody's just like, oh no. But the big thing was, I guess we can just go to the end, which was the thumbnail. Loki gets zapped or whatever,
right? Yeah,
similar to Coulson did in Avengers from behind, a surprise. Which well, before we get into that, they meet the timekeepers, who turn out to be pretty much
Fakes.
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 Because I was like,
Phonies. Phonies. Uh-oh. Did we lose Matt? I think we lost Matt. Oh, crap. See, ladies and gentlemen, even like recording these shows here, we've had issues with his internet here, like here and there. So if this craps out, just give us a like moment and we'll come back on here shortly. But yeah, not exactly how we wanted to start that there. So okay. Are we still live on here? I'm not even sure if we're still live right now. Let me check. Oh, yep. We are live right now. Yeah, I'm like, okay. Well, I am live. I guess I'll just try and continue the rest of the show here, and hopefully like Matt comes back. He's having computer issues here, so we'll see if the stream stays on tap here. But yeah, overall, Loki was a pretty newsworthy show. I do see that a lot of people have a lot of issues with it as far as like pacing is concerned, and how they have like presented the show is different to what they were expecting. Like just like hearing some people talk about it, they kind of expected a different vibe and not as like serious as this show has turned out to actually be, and just the overall weirdness between like Loki and him falling in love with himself is just really freaking weird. Not gonna lie, but I'm interested to see with him going, or him pretty much getting zapped at the TVA, to how he's going to interact with his other selves, and how eventually they're going to figure out, oh, how are they going to figure out everything that happened with the TVA there. So oh, there he is, he's back.
Literally my computer is frozen.
Yeah.
And then I got to figure out how to hear you. I can barely hear you because I don't know what, because it's a phone call here.
Are you like on your phone? Or?
Yeah, I'm on my phone.
Okay.
So literally, like it's not like I can't move anything on my computer. It's like literally frozen.
Wow.
And I didn't want to shut it off because I was afraid to lose the
stream there. Yeah.
Stream. Yeah. So I need to find a piece of paper so I can continue to write down notes here. But go ahead. I was hearing you talk. So
yeah, I was just like talking about like about like Loki falling in love with himself.
pretty much.
Yeah. Between that and him beating his other selves when he got zapped, just kind of how they're going to lead into that and explain everything at the like TVA, how it all came to actually be. Because I had a feeling with the whole timekeepers that was probably bullshit there. I kind of had a feeling that was going to be the case. Sure enough, that turned out to be. That was pretty much the episode there.
And then hopefully if I shut my computer off, force it off as it doesn't go off. I doubt it. Okay. We'll try this again. But I think the big thing I think was obviously the end, the first mid-credit scene we had was the three variants of Loki in whatever place they are. People were pointing out that it was like the destroyed New York, as people were seeing the Avengers, destroyed Avengers building there. I think maybe the tower. I could be wrong, but here we go. There's the computer. But so you had was it old Loki? No, it was young Loki.
Wasn't there a alligator Loki and a
it was young
and a like a
boastful,
black Loki.
It was I think boastful Loki. It looked like more like Thor. And then wasn't old Loki. There was another one. I forget the official name.
Alligator Loki?
No, the older guy. Older gentleman.
I'm not sure, but I mean, we're just going more and more into like multiverse territory here. So I feel like I'm hoping that this doesn't completely screw everything up to where it's going to make harder for people to understand. And man now has two. There's two of him. Oh God, help me. Okay. So now we're back up and running. Hopefully Matt's laptop doesn't turn heel here.
But if not, I have a backup.
Yeah,
it's ready. It's ready to go.
There's always a plan B.
I'm keeping myself because I can literally I can do this, and I'm back. So we're good there. So we got to the other variants. I gotta mute this.
Yeah.
What am I hearing myself?
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear your echo there.
What about now?
Yeah, just slightly.
Hang on. Oh, okay, that should be good now.
Yep.
Okay.
You're good.
So that was a lot went down. The judge lady turned heel.
Yeah.
You kind of felt that was.
You just kind of had a feeling that a lot of that was being told was just a complete farce. And she was probably leading or had a good hand in everything from the start. So,
because you saw the throwback when she wasn't the judge and she had the Sylvie escape her.
Yeah.
So she has that personal vendetta against her.
Right.
So that's interesting. And then when the timekeepers are, or supposedly the timekeepers are, just androids.
Yeah.
So there's more secrets, if you will, going on. And what that was episode 4, right? So we got 2 more to go. So a lot stuff is probably going to heat up coming up here and on Wednesday. So I can't wait. I think this was, as always, a very entertaining show. And so I can't. It's always good. I think this was a very good series thus far, and again, can't wait for Wednesday.
All right, so yep, and that will be episode 5. So there's only 2 more episodes left of the season here. So, okay, so now we're going to transition into some sports talk right now. And Matt, the Stanley Cup Finals, man, these games really haven't been all that
It's not been a series.
interesting. It's like you realize quickly. It's like this is going to be ending up being a sweep here. Like Montreal does not belong on the same ice as the Tampa Bay as the Tampa Bay Lightning. It's just like they have to be feeling so relieved that they're not facing those pesky Islanders, because it must be freaking heaven for them right now, not having them up in your face like for the whole length of the freaking ice like they were. Like, and just the overall difference in speed and skill, it's just night and day. And as good as Carey Price is, he can only do so much. It's just, it just in some instances, as good as your goaltender is, if you're asking him to be perfect every single night, it's just, and for how much shots and consistent zone time that Tampa Bay is consistently getting against like Montreal is just it's pretty obvious, and it just makes me wish even more that we had like Vegas versus Tampa, because to me, if this is Vegas, yeah, it's a much more competitive series, just because they can at least have the skill and the speed to be able to keep up with the Tampa.
I didn't think it was going to be a sweep. I was thinking more maybe 5 or 6, maybe Carey Price steals a game or 2.
Yeah.
But just seeing, and I did go insane just the way Montreal had momentum that they could. You get something hot comes in, you never know. But it's just now you watched it and they're up 3-0 Tampa Bay. I would be shocked beyond belief if somehow Montreal would come back, and I doubt it. I would say at the very least, in Montreal, again back against the wall, maybe they squeeze out a win.
Yeah.
And even of course, in Game 5, Tampa wins it on home ice in Game 5. Yeah. But I don't see it going past 5 games. I would say it closes out on the high probability. It closes out on Monday. So it's not been a series. It's kind of disappointing. I mean, I was at the casino yesterday, and they had it on the TV. I was seeing the end of the third period, or most of the third period. I looked at the score and I was just like, oh geez.
Yeah.
If Montreal would have won last night, I was like, okay, we have somewhat of more of a series. It gets interesting come Monday if they tie it up, or it goes up 3, or Tampa Bay goes up 3-1. But on a brink of a sweep, like it's just. The momentum is all on Tampa Bay. And another to go back to back. I know last year was pretty much a kind of different season, but still with COVID protocols possible and stuff. But to go back to back, they have a good team. Last team to do it.
Us, yeah.
Pittsburgh in 16 and 17. To be greedy, I wish Tampa Bay would win, just so we're like the last one for a while. That's neither here nor there. But for 2 teams within 3 to 4 years, to go back to back, and again, I mean, Detroit almost did it 08-09 against us. But to go back to back,
especially in like hockey, is just it's incredibly difficult, because
almost any sport, but
except
hockey, yes.
except for basketball, it seems like.
Fair,
But yeah, it's just and like just the physical toll and like mental toll that it takes on you. And you heard this from guys on the Pens. It was like by that third year, they were just physically and just psychologically just drained. Like it puts a physical and like mental toll.
I can't even imagine the grind. You know, we sit here on our high horses here on the sidelines and go, "Oh, you're athletes, you can do." But to go to play in the June, all that stuff, and try to go.
And like you basically have like what 2 or like 3 months off at the very most.
Hockey,
and that's it.
The whole season is a freaking grind. Even if you don't even if you don't make the playoffs, like, but especially if you make the playoffs. But I mean, obviously, but like it's a grind, and to go for 3 in a row. I mean, could they have done it? Who knows?
I mean, if there's a team who can do it, it's definitely them because, I'm interested to see how their salary cap situation is going to.
I want to look that up
because that has been a big story in this postseason. Was like I want to say that they're like 5 or 6 million over the current salary cap. So like there was some sort of a like loophole that they had where they could get away with it, but they're gonna have to make some moves, obviously, because they're not gonna be able to keep everyone in, and we keep on talking about this every week about the expansion draft with the Seattle Kraken there, so that's gonna be impacted as well. Next year is going to be really interesting, and I'm already pretty much in like that mode now because I just don't see how like Montreal is going to even like win a game right now. But you know,
they have Kucherov signed through 26-27.
Okay, yeah,
Stamkos through 23-24.
So he's got what 2 years left.
Point next year.
Yeah,
Andre Palat next year. I'm trying to think of all the big names. Alex Killorn through 22-23.
Yeah,
Maroon through next year. Let's look defenseman Victor Hedman through 24-25. Ryan McDonough through 25-26.
Yeah,
Dev through 23. So they have
a lot of those guys. Contracts are coming up pretty soon.
I know a couple a lot of defense are unrestricted. Yeah. Goalies Andre signed through 27.
Yeah.
So they got
they definitely have a few guys who are going to be. I feel like they're going to be
a good core.
Yeah, and it just like with these Stanley Cup teams, you can't keep everyone, and even with the Pens, I was shocked how long that we kept a like majority of these guys, because especially for guys such as like Sid, Gino, and Letang, and that starts there with Sid. He took a lot less because especially when you look at like Connor McDavid contract, I think he's making like close to maybe 11 or 12 million per year or something. So it's like, and Sid I think is only like making like 8.5, maybe 9 per year. So it's like Sid
McDavid 12.5 through through 26.
Yeah, so like Sid is like making 3 million less. So it's just like he did us a really big favor when he signed that back in 2014 or 2015 or like whatever. So that was pretty much our Stanley Cup talk there. We might do another video or another segment next week, depending on if there's any other like news. I mean, like we're going. I think.
2012.
Okay.
It was a
Okay.
12-year contract. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we'll be getting into free agency and in the NHL and the NHL draft and everything is going to be coming up there soon too. So yeah, and as well, Matt, you and I were going back and forth. ESPN, ESPN announced their full team for their deal there with the NHL. Any surprises that you saw from your end that you can recall?
I don't think nothing really jumped out. I think the typical Steve Levy, Barry Melrose, Bucci Gross, or Grot, whatever. The typical. What do you expect? They have who was doing Monday Night Football? Who did it?
Sean McDonough.
Yeah,
Sean McDonough.
Yeah. I wonder how he's going to do in hockey, because I know, like, for Monday Night Football, you got to get a bad rap.
Yeah, he really did. It wasn't good.
I would say I don't know if they said he's the A or probably B team.
I would say he's. I mean, like, to me, your A team is Steve Levy. Like, to me, he should be your guy there. And I'm trying to remember who was probably, as far as commentators are concerned. Let me pull that back up here. Because
back to that, so I'll pull that up too. I know you sent it to me. There we go.
I said a while ago.
Oh, Bucci Gross is doing play-by-play too.
Okay. I'm interested how he would do it.
I was doing play-by-play reporter. Bob Wishusian. Play-by-play. I just destroyed it. Steve Levy and Sean McDonough. So they've got 4 levels for games, and any analyst. Brian Boucher. I love Brian Boucher on NBC. He's been good. They got Mark Messier, I think, TV analyst, studio analyst.
Yeah.
Barry Melrose too. They got Rick DiPietro, former goalie. That was Ryan Callahan.
Yeah.
Chris Chelios. So they got some former players here, good insight. So, and Kevin Weeks, I know he'd probably be in the studio. He's good. So they've got a solid lineup, I think, of people who know what they're freaking talking about. Not saying anybody at NBC didn't, but I think it's a solid lineup, at least with the big names.
The only thing that ESPN really needs, they need a hockey insider, like Elliot Friedman or someone. I feel like who really should be
somebody I know works for TSN, probably somebody who works for TSN up there. So like with the Bob. Oh my God!
Yeah, I know who you're talking about though.
Bob McKenzie. Is that it?
Yep. No, he is actually retired now.
Is he?
Yep, he's actually retired now.
I totally missed that. But like everybody would parody his account on
yeah. He's actually, I think he is actually more like part-time now. More than anything right now.
But Freeman, or whoever's on a TSN can double. Right. I think usually maybe double dip. I don't know how that works, but so
like Darren Drager or someone like that. I'm very interested to see what that presentation is going to be like. I'm hoping that they actually talk about the NHL more and not just for how much that they are paying these guys. You would think, hey, we should probably feature them on talk shows more, or
like
more
like
interviews and shit.
like a lead off on Sports Center.
Right, exactly. It's like, hey, like, especially too, ESPN is going to be having the is going to be having the like Stanley Cup Finals for a like few years here.
Yeah, every other
Like,
year TNT. Yeah,
right. So like they better have a whole panel and shit at these games. They're just
Pre-game
it needs
a good
yes,
pregame show.
exactly.
Not like don't half-ass it with like
Right.
sometimes NBC does like
They
right
really
when
do.
like
Yeah,
go
like-
like I'm not going. I'm not expecting Super Bowl level pregame coverage like the whole freaking day, but like an hour.
NBA hell like similar with the
Yeah,
like NBA, like just like
it'd be nice to get somebody who's like as, for lack of a better term, as outlandish as like Charles Barkley, somebody who was a hockey, but still funny.
Right.
To be in there, you have somebody. You have was it Linda Cohn? She'd be a good host. It's one of those round tables that get people talking. I think they may work out the kinks, but I think out of everybody, I think they have a solid shot, and I mean, it looks good, and we can only wait until August, September, whatever for that.
or like October, but yeah, and that's when things, and that's when things are going to be going back to freaking normal, back to our normal divisions to not facing the like same like 6 teams, which God, that was a pain, but yeah, so that was hockey, and lastly, Matt, there was one other story that really caught the attention of people, and that was Shakir Richardson, I believe is her name. She's going, or she was, she's a track athlete that was going to be participating in the Tokyo Olympics until she is being possibly suspended for testing positive.
I know she is. I think he's missed.
Okay,
I think he's missing the 100 meter dash, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so like she's suspended for suspended for like 30 days because she tested positive for smoking weed. Yeah. And this is starting up a whole conversation of why are we still testing for this? Like, I have been a like pro weed person for quite some time now. I don't understand why this thing is still being tested now. But you have guys who are testing positive for steroids and shit, and sometimes aren't even getting like punished at times. It just I'm just trying to understand, and like I completely understand that, hey, it's a like current rule, and they have to go by what they have, but man, this really needs to like freaking change here. Like, for how many states are beginning to like legalize this now, and you're even seeing it in the NFL. They aren't even testing for it. The NBA, I'm pretty sure, doesn't test for it, and neither does like hockey either. So it's just like, when are we going to get to a point to where this isn't even an issue anymore? What do you think?
Besides, real quickly, I'm always against. I never get the thing of smoking just in general. If it's marijuana or cigarettes, I to me, I don't get why we need to breathe in smoke. But that's one thing for another day.
Yeah.
but in any use of marijuana, I mean, it's not crack, it's not heroin or any other opioids. So I mean, it's not bad. I think this is just obviously an old school mentality.
Yeah.
I don't think somebody should be suspended on because of marijuana or THC. More specifically, it doesn't do and give you an advantage. It doesn't make your muscles bigger. It just gives you a high of some sort. So I think this, hopefully by the next Olympics, and depending on 2 years, 4 years, being spring, or that would be summer, but this winter, maybe things would change. I would assume they will change. So yeah, I was reading this NBC News article here as you were giving the lowdown here. She was tested positive on June 19th. Wait, yeah. Wait, what? Never mind. I take that back. She accepted the 1 month period of ineligibility that began on June 28th. That takes her out of the running for her signature event, I guess the 100 relay, but still may have a chance to run the 4 by 100 meter relay. I guess maybe that happens after the suspension's up. It says here, athletes who test positive for a substance of abuse, which THC was newly classified as in 2021, usually receive a 3-month suspension if they can establish that, quote, their use of the substance occurred out of competition and was unrelated to sports performance. She says she successfully completed a counseling program regarding her use of cannabis, which under USADA rules knocks her eligibility down to 1 month. So it could have been 3 and basically missed the Olympics entirely, but it's now 1. Okay. So, and then she ran the 100 meters in 10.86 seconds, which would spark hopes of the U.S. might win its first gold medal in the women's race since Gail Devers in 1996. Wow. So,
and I believe that I believe I read somewhere that her mother recently her mother recently passed. Which, man, I can't even imagine just the overall stress and just pain that she was feeling after that.
But from what I'm reading, she's taken this like more professionally.
Well, it's like, she's probably
obviously pissed.
Yeah, she's pissed, but she's like, hey, what can I exactly do? It's as stupid as the freaking role is, it's still
but she's taking it not obviously in stride, but she's being I don't think she wants to burn any bridges. I don't blame her. No. So she's taking it and going with it, and so kudos for that. But it's a shame that that's pretty much once we get to the 100 meters and all that's all we're gonna shame. That's all we're gonna talk about.
Yeah, I mean, like that's gonna be
especially when we get to the women.
That's gonna be the like biggest like story going into the 20 or technically the like 2020 games.
But besides this story, I always love watching the Olympics.
Same.
It's always a blast. Like I get into other sports that you normally wouldn't watch because like who watches regularly shot put and stuff, but sometimes it's like interesting watching it once every 4 years with gold in country.
Swimming too. Like you
Swimming,
really don't. Yeah, you really don't see that too often.
Track
I
and
mean,
field.
I'll definitely watch a lot of things there too, because I do like doing that as well. And then like we're getting into like into the like Winter Olympics, which are actually happening like next, or this
I think it would be next
upcoming year. Yep.
Yeah, 2022.
Yeah. So and hockey this year, they're actually allowing NHL players to play in that. So that tournament is going to be a whole lot more exciting then. So I'm personally am really looking forward to.
And then this year, I always like the golf portion, since that was fairly new, because they had it added it in 4 years ago, 5 years now, but and just seeing the best playing each other. I know Justin Thomas, I think, said he's on the team. I forget who else is on the team, but you get the top of the top from each country, and some unknowns in other countries, but you get the big names coming out. So that's always fun. Yeah, Olympics are always a good time. Everybody's talking about it. It's great. All these storylines that come out, especially swimming. We had Michael Phelps and all that. That when he was like that one was a 2010.
I know.
He was
So
just
like
no 2010 or 12. He just was on the tear.
I think it was 2012 since like 2010 is
Winter was Vancouver. Yeah, it's probably
when like Sid won the golden.
Yeah, it was 12.
Yeah,
like watching that, like when he won by like a fingernail length, basically, like that getting excited.
How many and for how accomplished of a swimmer that he is, it's pretty damn amazing. So
and on the female side, we got that Katie Ledecky, who was tearing it up last time. She's been winning gold. She's been tearing up. On gymnastics, you have Simone Biles. She's fun. Like normally I don't watch gymnastics, but like watching, like you get into it when you have stars like that. There's a lot of interesting storylines and people to watch this month. So yeah, I can't wait. Unfortunately, we get this story to talk about.
Yeah, unfortunately, but yeah, guys, this is going to pretty much do it for the podcast this week. We thank you for tuning in. We'll try to go back on our like normal schedule next week, but I should give you a heads up as well on the week of the what it's the
2 weeks.
The
week of the 12th. That's a Monday or 11th,
or like
Sunday,
like 19th, or the week of the like 19th. We probably aren't going to be doing a show since we're going to be going.
Yeah. Well, what
away.
about? Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm thinking we were out on. No, I'm thinking we were gone on the Saturday, but we'll probably have that recorded by then.
Yeah. So like we're probably are not going to be doing a show for like that week, but we will be doing shows
unless we do it down. Freaking no. So no.
Telling you, we ain't doing.
I know. I'm just saying. I was joking. I wasn't.
Yeah, but yeah. So like we'll definitely do shows. Yeah, we'll do shows for like next week, and then I believe for the following week, and then we'll take a like week off there. So yeah. As always, guys, like, comment, subscribe, follow us on Twitter. And we are constantly over there tweeting during like wrestling shows. I'm constantly over there for MMA cards there too. So yeah. So yeah, for Matt and like for John, we shall see you guys next week.